people of the internet. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Angie, and this is my friend Erdi.
What's up?
And this is my travel vlog. Last week we were in Sydney for 6 days, and it was amazing. I had a wonderful time. How about you?
It was nice.
It was nice. And today we will be talking about the time that we spent there. So let's stop around and get right into it. Day number 1. We arrived in Sydney at like 4 p.m. And after we got our car, we went to our Airbnb in the western burbs of Sydney. It was nice because there was free parking, which is not a very common occurrence in Sydney. Mostly the parking is like $30,000. So it was nice to have a place that we could park for free and not have
30 minutes.
For $30,000 for 30 minutes. They have so many signs with so many specifications on when you can park at this place and for how long, and whether you have to get a ticket for it or whether it's free parking. It was very confusing, and sometimes you could turn right down a road like between Monday and Friday during these certain hours, and then every other time you couldn't. So it was kind of ridiculous. Driving in Sydney is kind of hard, so I would suggest maybe not renting a car if you're only going to stay in the city. The public transport system is very good and very reliable and really inexpensive. If you do decide to take that route, make sure that you get yourself an Opal card, because only a few of the buses accept cash. So Opal card. If you are going to be taking public transport, it works for their subway system and for their bus. That's the Opal card. Make sure you get one of those. Thanks, Erdi. We didn't really have a whole lot of time to do very much that night, so we went to find a place to go get dinner. We saw a casino. If you know me, you know that I like to gamble. And so the word casino made my face light up, and we decided to go for a little bit, and I won. We had like a $40 profit, so that was pretty awesome. Then we got some really good food in the casino part. I think the casino is called the Star Sydney. And then after that, I Googled the best place to see the Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge. And we found out that Mrs. Mrs. Mockery's chair is a really phenomenal view of not just the bridge and the Opera House, but of the whole city of Sydney lit up. So here are some pictures from that.
Pictures, bam, bam.
Okay. We went to bed super early because it took us like 11 hours to get from Honolulu to Sydney, so we were pretty tired. So the next morning we woke up and we got this really amazing breakfast at this place called 3 Williams. It was kind of pricey.
Who found that place? I'm a genius. I know. I'll put my resume in the description.
Okay. And Erdi is really good at finding food. Every time I pick a place, I feel like it's garbage. And every time he picks a place, it's always like the most amazing thing we've ever had. So he's pretty much in charge of food for the rest of the trip. Oh, gas station. Hold on, we're going to take a break.
Tim Tams!
Tim Tam time!
Don't say that.
Yeah.
That sounds so gay.
Tim Tam time! Oh, left lane, left lane, left lane!
I knew that.
Tim Tams are freaking amazing. We've had them these are probably like the 4th packs we've bought since we've been in Australia. So make sure you try them if you decide to come. Boop, boop. Also, I wanted to show you guys the money here. It's not only is it super pretty, especially compared to ours. Holland, look how nice this is. But watch this. What if I did it and it ripped? You can't rip it. It's pretty tight. It's like Singapore's money. It doesn't rip. Yeah, it doesn't rip. I thought I just got it, but I didn't. It's pretty crazy. Anyways, after we got breakfast, we walked the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Now, I would definitely suggest to you, if you go to Sydney, to plan to pay a lot of money to walk on top of it. I really wanted to do it, but it was really expensive. I think it was like $200 USD. And considering the fact that we will be away for 5 weeks, I didn't really want to spend that kind of money on that kind of activity. But I wish I would have planned for it, because it does seem really cool. And I'm going to try it next time I go to Sydney. But I wanted to save my money for like bungee jumping. And I bought like $140 ukulele. So I chose.
That whole Sydney Bridge thing, that's bullshit. Don't do it. It's a waste of money. Save your time.
How is it a
Do
waste?
something else. It's a gimmick. It's for like touristy people who want to do touristy things. It's not worth it.
We are tourists, and we have been doing nothing but touristy things since we've been here. We went to the Great Barrier Reef yesterday.
I've transcended, and I am now an Aboriginal. I own a boomerang, and I'm in search
We do own
of a
boomerangs.
didgeridoo.
Oh yeah.
We're no longer tourists.
I'm still a tourist. So after that, we went to the Opera House to go check it out. We went inside for like a second, but all of the souvenirs were really expensive, so we didn't buy that. We were gonna go back and get a drink or some food at the little bar below, which I think would have been cool. But I think we kind of forgot about that, because then after that we made our way to the Sydney Tower Eye. It was really spectacular. I really liked it. That one was Erdi's idea too. We went at about 4:30, and the sun sets about at about 5 o'clock here in Australia right now, because it's their winter time. So it was really nice to see the sunset over the city and then watch the city go from day to night. Oh, and we walked through the Royal Botanical Garden from the Opera House to get to the Eye, which was really cool. We saw a bunch of wild cockatoo, which they're all over the place here. At first, I thought they were really majestic, and I thought it was awesome. But this morning, I woke up really early to have my coffee and relax, and I was listening to the beautiful bird sounds, and then all of a sudden I hear, "Wah!" Anyways, moving on to day 3. One of the really cool days that we had in Sydney, it wasn't even in Sydney. We went out of the city to the Blue Mountains, and that was also an Erdi suggestion. He's been doing a really good job at suggesting stuff.
They're blue.
The mountains are blue.
That's all you need to know. They're blue. They're actually blue.
Something
That's
about the distance and the haze makes them blue, so it's pretty tight. I really, really liked it. I enjoyed it. We spent the entire day there. Then we talked to the people that work there, and they seem like they really love their jobs, so that's always a good indication of a good place, I think. And we tried kangaroo there for the first time at the cafe, and it was really good.
And really cold.
And really cold. It was weird that they served it cold, but it was really tasty. We tried it here, warm, and I didn't really fancy it. I wasn't keen on it.
It was alright.
It's alright. Anyways, the next day we took the suggestion of the people who worked at the Blue Mountains, and we went to Featherdale Wildlife Park. But before that, we went to Lock, Stock, and Barrel, which was another really good breakfast place that Erdi suggested.
Know your place, beach.
It's kind of terrifying when Erdi drives. I'm sure he thinks the same about me. But I almost had a heart attack when we first started driving today. We were driving through these windy mountain roads, and this fool wanted to go faster. So, and they said something about like cassowary crossing and stuff, which is pretty tight. We didn't see any cassowary, but we want to. That's the goal for the day, is to see some wildlife. So let's hope we do. Anyways, back to what we were talking about. Lock, Stock, and Barrel, where we had our wonderful breakfast. We had some French toast that had like ricotta and cream cheese, and I don't know, it was just magnificent. And we tried Vegemite for the first time. Trying Vegemite for the first time. This is for you, Jess. And it was gross. I did not like it, and I probably just didn't eat it right. I put it a little bit on a bagel with some cream cheese, and it was pretty gross. But I tried some again this morning, and I actually kind of liked it. And it's pretty good for you too. It has lots of B vitamins in it, so make sure you try that while you're here. Vegemite. Oh yeah, and then before we went to Featherdale Wildlife Park, I bought a pack of cigarettes for, what was it, like 32 Australian dollars? No, like 25 Australian dollars, which equals out to be about 16 USD. 16 USD for cigarettes. This is so crazy.
It wasn't even brand name.
It wasn't even brand
It
name.
just said smoking kills on the box.
Yeah, and they were garbage. They were gross. All of the cigarettes here. I mean, everything about the cigarettes here is to deter people from smoking. And I guess they've done a really good job. I was talking to a guy who owns a tobacco shop, and he said that only 10% of the Australian population smokes cigarettes now. So I guess that's pretty good. And look at these boxes. Smoking causes mouth cancer. And it's like, oh, you can't really see it. There it is. Isn't that awful? That's somebody's mouth. Gross.
That's so hot.
Anyway, Featherdale was a really awesome place, especially to be able to interact with wildlife. We met a bunch of kangaroo. We got to feed them and pet them. I took a selfie with one of them. I pet one of them and it bit me, and I didn't realize that there was a sign on their fence that said, these are termite mounds. Do you see them? The big clay?
Yeah, look.
No, Erdi!
How do you know those are termite mounds?
Because I know. That's where the echidnas get their food in the wild. Anyways, we got to meet all sorts of different animals. A kookaburra is one of the first things you see. I've been talking about those nonstop because of the song. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree and all the gumdrops. Okay. Oh, wombats that you got to pet. You have to be careful when you pet them, though. The lady said to make sure you stay away from its actual face, but you can pet anywhere from its neck down because it can't really move quickly. So, like, if it does want to bite you and you're petting its butt, it can't get you. So that's good. What else did we see? Koalas! We got to take photos with koalas. That was pretty tight. We got to pet its butt, but that's kind of the only interaction that we got with it. I did want to hold him, but they wouldn't let. That wasn't kind of part of the program. So, but we did get to see all the kangaroos, like I said, which I thought were tight. One of them.
Tasmanian devils.
Oh, the Tasmanian devils. That's right.
Hideous.
Ugly.
Hideous green.
Ugly. But kind of cute in its own way, I thought. No.
Lots of birds.
Anyways, Featherdale is a really nice place, and if you are going to be in Sydney and want to interact with some animals, that is going to be the place for you to go. At least that's what I think. And it's cheaper, I think, than the zoo. So check it out. Weigh out your options. After Featherdale, we took a little bit of a break and had a couple of beverages. We were taking shots of Jack, and we took a bottle of wine with us on the subway and the buses to Darling Harbour to go watch the fireworks. And we had a couple of beers at the harbour and some pizza, and that's how we ended the night. I think we got back in at like 1. So
There were some street performers.
Oh yeah, the street performers, I forgot. They were so great. There's this one guy, and he got on this like 10-foot tall unicycle and juggled torches that were lit on fire, and that was pretty awesome. So they do those fireworks on the Darling Harbour every Saturday. So if you are there on a Saturday, be sure not to miss that. I think it starts at 8:30 exactly. So get there on time and get there kind of early so that you can see some of the street performers. So that morning we had to move Airbnbs. So we ended up in the East Burbs and really, really close to Bondi Beach. Oh, look at all the windmills. You guys want to see?
Can you see the wind farm harvesting the wind for man?
Okay,
The power
Bondi. Bondi is kind of like a funkier part of town. Saw a lot of hipsters, or what looked like hipsters anyways. And that's where we got some really, really good food. That Locke's place is over there. And then the next day, day number 5, we went walking on Bondi Beach itself. It was a little too chilly to go like swimming or anything, but there were still people in the water, which was kind of crazy to me. So we just walked along the sand pretty much and saw all these really awesome murals. And then we got over to the cliffy part. There are cliffs on either side of the beach. We went to the cliffs on the left side, and there were all these pools filled with all this different marine life, which was really awesome. They had like these starfish, but with like 8 tentacles. Sea urchins, there was like hundreds of them, which was a little terrifying, but still pretty cool. That night, we had to eat at McDonald's because Google lied to us about what time places were closing. And they don't call it McDonald's here, they call it Mackey's. And just like they call their grocery store, it's called Woolsworth, but they call it Woolies. I love their nicknames for stuff. Anyways, day 6.
They call Publix Cubies.
They don't even have Publix. So day 6, I finished up my vlog in the morning, and Erdi went and explored Bondi Beach again. So I don't know if you know this, but Tony Hawk, which one? Come on, Tony Hawk.
Alright, so back in the day, when I was a wee lad, in like 2003-4, I had Tony Hawk Underground 2. One of the maps is Australia, and the map takes place in Bondi Beach. The thing is, I didn't know that until I got there that day. And I saw all this shit, and I was like, bruh, this looks so familiar. So I went to the second day, and I was looking for all this stuff, and like literally every single thing that was on the map in the game was there in real life. It was like to the T. Amazing. Honestly, made my whole trip. For that reason, I'm gonna move to Bondi Beach.
You almost killed a magpie! Bro!
He didn't even move! Because he knew he was good. He had trusted me, unlike some people.
Anyway, when he got back and when I was finished with my vlog, we went to the fish market, which doesn't sound very fun, but it was actually really cool. And a lot of the places cook their food for you, so it's like the freshest seafood that you could possibly get. It was amazing.
The fish market.
The market of fish. Also, I know you'll like this one, Essie. Every single gas station or convenience store that I have been into has had kombucha. Every single place. All different kinds of flavors, and all made in Australia. And they're all really, really tasty. So I just wanted to put that out there, because I know that Essie loves the booch, and so does Christina. So come to Australia, if only for the booch alone. It would be worth it. Anyways, we are on our way to a waterfall right now, and we are almost there. So before I go, I'm going to give you guys 5 places that I think that you should go to while you are in or around Sydney. So, number 1, I'm going to wrap 3 things into one. The bridge, Sydney Harbour Bridge, the Botanical Gardens, and the Opera House. They are all free, except for the Sydney Harbour Bridge. That one you can pay for, but it's free to just walk across it, which is pretty cool too. You get some pretty good views of the Opera House. And then the Opera House is pretty much right next to it, right?
A bit down the road.
Yeah, it's walking distance from it. And then the Botanical Gardens is right across the street from the Opera House. So they're all really, really close to each other. Number 2, the Sydney Tower Eye. It was pretty dope. I liked it a lot. Like I said, I tried to plan it so that we were up there at around sunset, and there were some very beautiful views. It wasn't very expensive either. It was, what'd you say?
About 35 USD.
About 35 USD. So it was pretty, pretty worth it. I would definitely suggest to do it. Number 3, and my favorite thing in Sydney, the Featherdale Wildlife Park. loved it. Loved the interaction with the animals, and being able to learn about that. They do a lot of like presentations and stuff, explaining the animals and how they act in their natural habitats and stuff. So it was just a really cool place. Number 4, Bondi Beach. It is a very touristy beach, yes, but there is a reason that it is. It is super beautiful. Apparently the waves are really good for surfers. I'm not into that kind of thing, but I could probably sit there all day and like people watch. And like I said, walk along the cliffs on either side and check out the marine life. The starfish were really cool. That was probably one of my not favorite things, but I thought it was pretty awesome.
There's a fire. It's a fire.
Another fire? Why every time I'm filming this there's a fire? And number 5, the Blue Mountains. Make sure you check them out. They are beautiful. They're phenomenal. It's really good for, like I said.
They're blue!
And they're blue!
Like, that's all the reason enough. They're blue.
Yeah, mountains that are blue. How can you beat that? Oh, right. You can't. So, check them out. It's not that far. I think it was, what, like an hour and a half?
Yeah.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you have to rent a car to go. I think they offer tours, so if you don't feel like renting a car while you're in Sydney, because it is really scary driving on the other side of the road, on the other side of the car. And it's even scarier if you're riding passenger to somebody who drives really scarily. Anyways, there are options. Rent a car, don't rent a car. Just make sure you explore. And don't spend all of your time in Sydney. There's some really great things around it. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, be sure to leave it a thumbs up. And if you really, really liked it, be sure to share it on one of your social medias. And to hit that subscribe button. Next week, we are going to talk about our wonderful time that we've spent in Cairns and how we went to the Great Barrier Reef and how we are finding all these waterfalls right now and just all of the wonderful things that we are doing. And I can't wait to show you guys what we are doing. But that's next week. And I hope to see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.
Peace.
Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit subscribe. And if you're already ready to see more of me, just click on one of those videos on either side of the Dancing Angie. Also, don't forget to follow me on my other social medias. I hope to see you guys next time. Toodaloo, mother...